And welcome to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, for another video today. And what I thought we'd do is, it's a bit of a quiet day, there's not an awful lot going on. Obviously yesterday we had the Champions League game, but there wasn't an awful lot riding on that game. We did win it in the end though, of course, by 2 goals. And obviously this weekend's game against Villarreal doesn't actually come until Sunday, so we've got a few days here where there's not an awful lot going on the Barcelona front. So what I thought I would do for you today is bring you a sort of news roundup video. We're going to be going through some of the headlines that have been occurring today, and there has actually been quite a lot going on at Barcelona today in regard to players getting back to fitness. One player in particular I know you guys are going to be very excited about. The other one maybe not so much. There's a lot as well going on with, of course, the Champions League. We've got the draw coming up for that very soon, and there's some very interesting potential ties on the horizon for Barcelona. But we are going to start first of all with that big news of that big man that was back in training today, Ousmane Dembele. For the first time since he picked up his injury, he trained with the rest of the group for a part of training today. Now, it's worth noting he didn't do the entire session with the full group, but he did do some of it. He was involved in the rondos, you know, the usual Barcelona drill. They're all in a circle. It's a sort of piggy in the middle situation. You've got to try and win the ball back. He was involved in that with the team. He was doing a few other exercises with the rest of the group as well. And most importantly, though, it was just great to see him back with his teammates. It's a fantastic picture with himself alongside Messi, alongside Suarez, and we're just so excited to see that front three back again on the field, all working together. And I think when Dembele comes back, I am so excited to see what that does to our entire team. Obviously, we're going to have to give him time. You know, it's been 81 days since his injury. He got injured back in September against Getafe, of course, and I think he's recovered really well. But we've always stressed, you know, we don't want him to rush that recovery. Obviously, he's got the Clasico in mind. Whether he'll be ready for that, we don't know that yet. But what we do know is he is back training with the group. He's going to be doing more and more training now as the days go on. He's going to integrate himself back into the squad, and he's been working really hard, and I hope when he gets back everything goes well for him, because he really deserves it. His attitude has been impeccable, and we are all so excited to see him back on that pitch. And like I said, the second player that I'm going to discuss you might not be as excited about. Arda Turan has received the medical green light. He is fit now again to be selected if he does choose to do that. If Valverde does bring him in, Arda Turan can play. It has been 224 days since he last played a game for Barcelona. Bearing in mind now, this is a guy who is on nearly 100,000 euros per week. 224 days since his last Barcelona game. That came back in April against Osasuna. But it was really interesting today to actually see Bartomeu come out, speak quite openly about Arda Turan, and some of the things he said, I don't know if he's just saying it because he was the one who signed him, or if he genuinely believes this, but I really don't know. He basically said, Arda Turan is one of the most important players in our team. Obviously, we want Arda to continue his career here with us. While he was out with injury, he wasn't in great shape, but we'll have to see what happens now when he's fully recovered, and I believe he's ready to play. I am so surprised to hear that come out from Bartomeu, because it very much seems like the club has been trying to force him out. We want him to leave the club in January. It all seemed like it was going that way, but now he's back fit again. Maybe the club are going to integrate him back into the team, but I thought the idea was get him off the wage bill, let him leave the club, let him move on, have some playing time elsewhere. But Bartomeu here coming out defiant in his signing of Arda Turan, and he still says that Arda Turan is one of the most important players in the team. I mean, really? Also, in training today with the first team, there were a few youth team players. Palencia, he's only just returned not so long ago since a long-term injury, so it's good to see him training with the first team today. Carlos Alenia was training with the first team, as was Oriol Busquets, David Costas, who they are ninth, and also juvenile A player Iñaki Peña. They all trained with the group today with the first team. And this has been quite a regular feature with Ernesto Valverde, you know, calling up players to the first team training, letting them train with the rest of the group, but he doesn't really seem to have that next step to go and play them in the matches. Because what I made the point about yesterday was Jose Arnaiz. Now, I know he couldn't play in the Champions League because he wasn't registered with the official Barcelona squad at the start of the season. That's fair enough. But in the league games, I have no idea why Arnaiz has not been given a try, why he has not at least been involved in just one of the squads. Because you look at what we've got in the wider areas. Last night we saw Vidal being tried. He didn't impress. We've seen Deulofeu there on many occasions, and he has not taken his chance. And since Dembele has been injured, absolutely nobody has come in and impressed in those wider areas. Denis Suarez hasn't really been given a chance there either, but I just don't understand why Valverde wouldn't have given our knight at least one game to have a go. We've seen him in the Copa, we've seen him in the Segunda with Barcelona B this season, and every time he's had the chance, he's really impressed. So I just can't for the life of me understand why we're not at least giving him one shot. And now on to a transfer-related story, and that revolves around Javier Mascherano. And the Spanish papers, both MD and Sport today, and in the last few days really, have been documenting Javier Mascherano's future at the club, and they are absolutely adamant that Javier Mascherano wants to leave, and he wants to leave in January. He wants to go right now. He's had enough of the club. He wants to leave. He wants to go and get playing time. He's going to go to China reportedly, and apparently he wants to get game time ahead of the World Cup for Argentina. He wants to be playing every single week, and of course in China you do get the financial reward of it as well. But apparently, according to Sport and MD, the club really don't want Mascherano to go. They feel like at the moment we desperately need him in the centre of our defence. We've got injuries, we've got suspensions, things like that can happen. We might need somebody like Mascherano. The club are panicking, but Mascherano does not want to change his mind. That is what the Spanish reports are saying. Mascherano wants to go, and it's going to be really difficult right now for the club to keep hold of him. Mascherano right now is still recovering from the injury that he sustained on international duty with Argentina. So far this season he's made 10 appearances in all competitions for Barca, and it's going to be really interesting as well to see whether he can return in time for that Clásico match. Right now we've got Piqué and Vermaelen. Our only fit centre-backs right now are those two players, so it would be really good to have Mascherano back with the group. But the question is, how long are we going to have him for? It's going to be interesting to see what happens in January. If Mascherano is to leave, would we then bring somebody in? It does look like a mistake now that we didn't sign somebody like Inigo Martinez in the summer, somebody who could come in and play a backup role, but also when they need to step up, they're of the quality to do that. Inigo Martinez, 32 million it would have cost in the summer, ball playing centre-back, not very old. It could have been a really good signing. We didn't go down that route, and now if Mascherano leaves in January, we could be in real trouble. Now on to Luis Suarez. Just a quick fact for you guys, it's not really one of the positive nature. Going into last night's game, Luis Suarez is on the longest Champions League goal drought of his career, and unfortunately, despite an encouraging performance in places, he had a few chances, he made a few runs, there was a few bright moments, but ultimately last night it didn't quite happen for Suarez. There was a few missed chances, and unfortunately that goal drought goes on now. He is nearly 800 minutes in the Champions League without a goal, and we desperately need that to change, because if we're going to be progressing in the Champions League in the knockout stages, we're going to need him to be scoring goals. One man though who is scoring goals is Paco Alcacer. He is the only player in the Barcelona first team to score in the Copa del Rey, the League and the Champions League this season, and I'm very interested to know your guys' opinion on that. In the review video yesterday I said, you know, he always seems to score, he doesn't always contribute, but he does always seem to get himself on the score sheet. He is a poacher, he can finish, he is clinical in front of goal, and I'm really interested to know what you guys think. Does he deserve more game time? Does he deserve a few more opportunities than he's getting? What do you think of Paco Alcacer right now in his performances? Would you like to see him stay at the club? Do you think he should go? What are the general opinions right now of Paco Alcacer? Because he is scoring goals. Every time he's given a chance, he does seem to get on the end of things. He gets himself in good positions, and I think right now this season, he deserves some credit. He was frozen out for a long time by Ernesto Valverde. Now he's been brought back in. He won that game for us against Sevilla, 2 brilliant goals on that day, and he has been involved in other games as well, in crucial moments. And finally guys, I wanted to discuss with you the Champions League and the draw which is going to be coming up in the next few days. Obviously tonight the final round of the group games are being played, so we're going to find out exactly who we could face in the next round. But I want to talk to you about something quite specific, and that is Chelsea. We have got a massive chance of drawing them in the last 16 stage. If Liverpool beat Spartak Moscow tonight, it'll mean that Liverpool win their group. Sevilla in second. We cannot play Sevilla or any other Spanish opposition who finished second in their group, so that could also include Real Madrid. We can't face them in the next round because you can't face teams of the same nation. So we got a very, very high chance in the next round of drawing Chelsea, who finished second in their group. They were just behind Roma on the head-to-head record. Roma absolutely hammered Chelsea at home, so that gave them a real advantage going into this Champions League, and they ended up finishing top of their group. But I just want to talk about Chelsea because there have been a number of arrogant comments, and that's the way that I would put it. That's the only way I can put it right now. Arrogant comments from the Chelsea coach and from Chelsea players. Now, I like Antonio Conte, but him, Courtois and Eden Hazard right now have been very, very vocal specifically about drawing Barcelona. A lot of them have come out and said, you know what? Bring it on. And that's fair enough. I can understand that. You want to beat everybody that's in front of you. You want to go through the games. You want to have that confidence. But Thibaut Courtois, who's played for Atletico Madrid, he knows what it's like to come up against Barcelona. He was in a report yesterday and he was in an interview and he basically said, I think Barcelona would fear playing us. I've got news for you guys. We wouldn't. We would not fear playing Chelsea. I don't care how bad we are right now. In the Champions League against English opposition, we usually raise our game and we usually get the result. You think about Barcelona and Tata Martino, a lot of people thought, you know, what on earth is going on with the club? We're going downhill. We're no longer a force anymore. Manchester City before the game, I remember Vincent Kompany coming out, talking. We went there under Tata Martino, destroyed them in their own stadium. At the end of the day, we have Lionel Messi. Whilst we have Lionel Messi, I would be confident in any game, any given game, he can make an impact. So if I'm Courtois, if I'm Hazard, if I'm Conte, I don't want you coming out saying Barcelona are scared to face us, because you know what? We're not. You might feel that English clubs are coming back in Europe this season. That's absolutely fine. But where have you been for the last few years? We have been there every single season in the knockout rounds. We've been very, very comfortable in the Champions League. We're an established team there, one of the most record-breaking teams in the Champions League ever. We're not scared of facing Chelsea. Let's get that absolutely clear. So what do you think, guys? What are your thoughts going into that Champions League draw? Who would you like to face? I personally now, I would like to face Chelsea. I would like to play them. I would like to draw them, and I would love to see what happens, because I would be going into that game very confident. We've not been at our best this season, but we've still glided through our Champions League. We're still top of the league, and like I say, we've still got the power of Messi, and when he can unleash that power on English soil, it is outstanding. So leave your thoughts on everything that's been mentioned in today's video. What do you think about Paco Alcacer? What do you think about Jose Arnaiz? Should he been given a chance in the Barcelona first team? And most importantly, who do you want to draw in the last 16 stage in the Champions League? Would you fear Chelsea? Are you different? Do you think we would fear them? I don't think so. See you soon. Vesca el Barça. Barça! Barça! Barça!